Ioppolo, I know it's a mouthful.
Is that Porter or the next one?
What's that?
The school board guy. Was that
Keith.
Mr. Porter or was it the new one?
Uh,
That Porter resigned.
You're referring to the
The
superintendent?
mentor, yeah.
I think I'll hold on because of conflict of interest.
We have-
You
there's
get
a
the
new one,
data.
though,
She's
right?
asking about mentor, not me.
Mentor school board.
Okay, no, it wasn't the middle school.
Okay, okay.
So really quick, just to touch on what you said, I'm also a sub, and I've been in Memorial, I haven't been in, Shore. And I've
Yeah, I
seen the
can't sub at Memorial
I've seen the
Let her speak.
the rainbow, signs on the doors, and I'll address that, and that is something, they're doing it because they're allowed to. Because from the top down, like he's talking about, those 3 majority board members allow it. They had a superintendent Porter who was a lot more liberal than I think Keith, but the jury's still out on that, who allow it. So those teachers with those types of agendas, they do have a personal agenda in my opinion, because who wants to look at that? They're pushing the envelope, and because they're allowed. So when we get in there, our hope is to immediately, with Annie Payne, set policy, and this stuff is done, or you lose your job. That's my opinion on it. Anyways, so like Gil said, we are running as a team. There are 2 open seats, and we desperately need to win and get both of those seats. If by some chance one of us got in and the other didn't, nothing changes. We're still at 2 to 3, and they have a majority. So it is so important that people understand that you have 2 votes, and you have to vote for the O's, Ioppolo, Martello, and or else nothing really will change. And what's scary is so far, and I don't know if more people will enter the race, the 2 ladies that are running against us couldn't be, they're probably worse than the 3 ladies sitting on the board now. So we definitely need to win. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Willoughby, the 3rd oldest of 9 children. All 9 of us still live in the area, and actually all but 1 still lives in Lake County. My dad, Jerry, is a businessman turned Ohio State Senator. And my mom, Donna, is a homemaker. She stays busy spoiling her over 30 grandchildren. I graduated from Lake Catholic High School in '95 and went on to graduate from Cleveland State University with a BA in communication. I had amazing opportunities working in sales and marketing for Fortune 500 companies such as Sony Music Distribution and Radio Disney. I have been a stay-at-home mom since 2003 and have loved being heavily involved in my children's schools, athletic boosters, and volunteering. I currently work as a substitute teacher for the Mentor School District, and I have previously worked as a sub for Riverside Schools and NDCL High School. This month, my husband Jason and I will celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary. We have been blessed with 4 children. This year, all 4 of them attended Mentor schools. Our oldest, Ryan, just graduated this past Sunday. Ryan earned a scholarship to play Division II basketball at the University of South Carolina, Beaufort, where he will major in business administration. Ian, our other son, is going to be a senior at Mentor this year, and he will be starting his 2nd year as a team captain for the basketball team. He hopes to continue his academic career playing Division I basketball. He stands at 6'7", so the odds of that are pretty good.
Yeah.
Ellison will be a freshman at Mentor in the fall. She played JO volleyball at Rock City and is currently working toward her goal of making the high school volleyball team in August. Finally, Lila is our youngest and the family favorite. She's going into the 2nd grade. And yes, we are crazy, purposely started all over and had another child after we had 3 grown. She just completed her 3rd year of youth soccer. So moving into the Mentor School District was easy for us. My husband, he found a lot of success when he went to Mentor. He graduated in '94 and received a scholarship to play Division II basketball. We began our life together 20 years ago in Mentor. One thing I know for sure, Mentor is made up of wonderful, caring, generous people who are deeply invested in family, community, and their schools. I want to make it clear to everyone, there are so many wonderful things going on in the district, too many to list tonight. I work as a substitute teacher, as I mentioned, in the district. I would not be sending my kids to Mentor if I thought it wasn't good at its core. I believe the majority of teachers and staff are amazing people who dedicate their lives to educating and caring for our children. Having said that, I'm running for school board because of the following. And forgive me if I'm redundant, but it's necessary. The current board majority approved the purchase of graphic books with suggestive and appropriate material. I'm not talking PG-13 rating, like the opposition is making it out to be. I'm talking pornographic. I couldn't even bring myself to read you a line from one of the books that are in the high school. I believe in total transparency for all materials used to educate or entertain our students. I believe that parents should decide what is appropriate reading material, and the district should work with them to ensure that anything controversial is approved by parents in advance. Mentor Schools is currently allowing biological boys to use the girls' bathrooms and locker rooms and vice versa. They refuse to be transparent on the issue, and our superintendent refused several times to put it in writing. He admitted to making this decision out of fear of being sued. Recently, the Ohio Attorney General issued a legal opinion which stated providing separate bathrooms for the separate sexes does not violate transgender rights under Ohio Revised Code. One would assume that with this opinion, the superintendent would reconsider his stance and create policy on the issue to protect his students. He did not. I believe that students should use the bathroom, locker room, and play on sports teams of their biological sex. Public schools are not responsible for affirming the gender of a minor or a young adult still in high school. As a board member, I will make these hard decisions that need to be made with the goal of keeping all students safe. I also believe that every child in the district is worthy of the benefit of a school resource officer. Every building needs this vital protection, as well as a notice at every door indicating that an armed officer is present at all times. Now, not in 5 years, as is the current plan. Mentor Schools wasted money by purchasing a divisive diversity, equity, and inclusion training for all teachers and staff. This was done without offering the community evidence that racism was a problem in our district, which it's not. DEI and any of its camouflage byproducts like it have no place in our schools. Mentor is filled with students of different socioeconomic, ethnic, and religious backgrounds. Our students have various academic abilities, physical abilities, and numerous unique personal experiences and struggles. What these students need desperately is to feel like they're part of a family. They need to be united, not divided. It is often assumed that if you want your children to receive an elite education rooted in morals and discipline, then you must send them to a private school or homeschool. Every single public school student deserves an elite education, one that provides them with the tools to navigate our ever-changing world. Private schools continue to outperform public schools on standardized tests and SATs and ACTs. This is one of many reasons Mentor is constantly losing families to private schools. Public school students deserve smaller class sizes. Only then can teachers realistically manage their classroom by consistently following through with rules and strategies for self-discipline. This is an area I feel is lacking in many classrooms in America. Schools with weak discipline open the door to classroom disturbances, like you said, which makes for a negative learning environment. It also creates issues with bullying, truancy, and safety. I believe Mentor Schools needs to adopt a strong philosophy on discipline so that teachers can spend more time teaching and less time babysitting. All school year I have been hearing things like, that's not happening here, schools are not indoctrinating students. It is happening. It might not be as widespread as some think, and it might be limited to the middle schools and the high school, but it's happening. My daughter was excited to go to Washington, D.C. with her 8th grade class this year. She spent the year learning about American studies and couldn't wait to see our nation's capital. While there, she and a group of students proudly used their spending money to purchase a Trump hat, which is, everybody seems to do it. All my older kids went, you get pictures, and all the schools and all the students all have their Trump hats. They were allowed to wear the hat all day as they toured museums and monuments. That evening, the assistant principal, who was chaperoning the trip, sent out a message to all of the students, not to the parents, advising them that they would not be allowed to wear anything political the next day. When I questioned this decision upon her return, I was told that this was a united decision by the assistant principal and the principal the night that they made the announcement. I found out later that this was not true. This was the sole decision of the assistant principal alone. The principal was not advised of this until the students returned from the trip. Why lie? Is it because this decision was made based on the personal political viewpoint of one administrator in charge and not based on school policy or dress code. I asked the assistant principal if the students would have been allowed to wear a Biden hat or a Reagan hat. He didn't have an answer for me. I asked if he told students not to wear pronoun pins or rainbow gear. His answer was no. This is what we mean when we say schools are indoctrinating our children. That one decision sent the message that if you wore a Trump hat, you were doing something wrong. These students toured the Arlington National Cemetery to remind them to be grateful to our military for the freedoms they enjoyed. Hours later, they were stripped of their right to free speech by a respected authority figure. Do you see how this is confusing our children? It is important to note that when I asked the assistant principal what prompted his decision, I was told that strangers in the museum were commenting to him that it was inappropriate to wear Trump hats. When our board doesn't create policy on these issues, staff members are free to use their discretion when making these decisions, and that's dangerous. In this case, no one advocated for the protection of the students' First Amendment rights. How sad that this had to happen during a trip to our nation's capital. While an apology was given to the board member who raised this issue to the superintendent, the one board member who actually speaks out, Annie Payne, this wrong was never corrected to the students. Mentor schools need to be completely neutral when it comes to political ideologies. They should not only teach students about the Constitution, but reinforce the rights it provides to them. I'm sorry, I'm almost done. I have attended or listened to nearly every school board meeting in the past 2 years. While parents and members of the community frequently plead with the board to do something about low test scores, I don't recall the board ever discussing strategies to improve them. This has been a problem since 2018. This needs to be the #1 priority of the superintendent and the board. Currently, it is not. Our teachers will never be able to get test scores up if they are forced to continue juggling oversized classrooms and constant training on new curriculum programs. I believe a pause in new curriculum and technologies is essential in order to address declining test scores. I believe teachers should have a seat at the table when such decisions are being made. Teachers are the experts who are in the trenches every single day, and I ask them when I'm working with them, and they're never asked their opinion when bringing up new curriculum. These are just the hot button issues that are putting our district at risk. There are many other areas where I believe our district could benefit from change. And if you have any concerns or questions, feel free to talk to Gil and I after. I believe Gil and I, along with board member Annie Payne, will bring mentor schools back to being a district that parents in the community can be proud of. This can be done with a singular focus on getting back to basics, improving proficiency test scores, protecting all students, and keeping political ideologies out of schools. Please help us help the Mentor District by supporting our campaign in any way you can. I have volunteer papers here if you want to fill out your information, if you want to help us. And I just want to say thank you for listening. I know that was a lot, and I appreciate your time.
One real quick thing.